What happens when you don't feel the pen prick of your Mounjaro pen or Zepbound pen? Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've actually done over 100 Mounjaro and Zepbound pen injections, and having lost over 106 pounds the last 2 years and 2 months, so over 26 months of being on both Mounjaro, not at the same time, but Mounjaro, Zepbound, and Tirzepatide compound. The reason why all of those is because of the shortage, but now I'm currently on Zepbound 15 milligrams. And on today's episode, I want to do a deep dive because I get asked a ton in my free encouragement group about this topic. I got a ton of resources for you. Your one-stop resources of free information linked in the description link below. So click that more button and you can see my free group in which I'm going to be referencing, and countessofshopping.com, my free blog. For a lot of these, if you're just starting the medication or you've been on for a hot second and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm on Zepbound 7.5 milligrams. I've never had this happen. I want to help you because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So when you don't feel the prick of the Mounjaro pen or Zepbound pen, and I'm going to be referencing both are the same exact thing, just different FDA approvals, both same dosage, same manufacturer, which is Eli Lilly, the manufacturer of Mounjaro and Zepbound. They're the same thing, they're Tirzepatide. So when I'm referencing both, please know it's the same thing, just they're different FDA approvals. So let's reverse engineer, if you don't feel the prick of the pen, why that could be, and what also to prevent that too. I'm a troubleshooter. I'm like, I'd rather just prevent drama. Save your drama for your mama. I'd rather just have an easy breezy injection with this. So the first thing is I've now transitioned, and I used to not do this, but I've moved to leaving my pen out just a few minutes before I do my injection when it's super cold. And again, our pens can never freeze. If they do freeze, the Mounjaro pen or Zepbound pen, we do need to throw those away per Eli Lilly's instruction for us, sadly. But when it comes out of the refrigerator at the proper temperature, I just leave it on the counter for a couple of minutes just to not have a really, really cold medication going into my body, because I will feel that. For me, the feeling of the injection, I get asked all the time about Zepbound injection and Mounjaro injection. Does it hurt? For me, it really doesn't. It just feels like a little prick. In fact, me getting my Botox, trying to make a mad face. Me getting Botox or filler actually has hurt worse, air quote, which that didn't really hurt. That has hurt worse than this. It really doesn't. Now, everybody's body is different. Of course, this is not medical advice. I always do these videos to punch you to your healthcare provider to help spark conversations with your healthcare provider, so never to be interpreted as medical advice. But for me, and from someone who's done this now for over 100 times, it doesn't hurt. It really, really doesn't. So one, I leave it out for a few minutes, and then that also takes the sting quote out of it because it's not quite so cold. Two, I always make sure I use my alcohol wipe prior to doing my injection. If you're like, I don't know what alcohol wipes to use, or I've never used an alcohol wipe, they're linked down on the description link below. You can check those out. Just making sure everything is sanitary. Obviously, wash your hands before doing it. If you're doing it on the back of your arm and someone else is doing it for you with that, just double check in your picture that comes in your literature with your prescription from Eli Lilly of making sure that they're putting it in the right spot for you, or that you're putting it in the right spot. That is one of the troubleshooting things. I was just talking with an awesome group member in the Countess of Shopping group, where thousands of amazing people are. It's such a fun group. But somebody was talking there and they're like, oh, I did in my love handles. I said, babes, you cannot do it in your love handles. I mean, I guess you could, but Eli Lilly tells us within this purple diagram exactly where to do it. It's like a paint by numbers. Do you guys remember that from elementary school? We're painting by numbers, but injecting by numbers. You're just gonna follow the purple description. So if you're injecting outside of that, that is not recommended, and that's going to feel differently. So feeling that prick of it is going to feel differently than what is instructed by the manufacturer, which is Eli Lilly. So a couple things. If you don't feel the prick of the pen, I want to alleviate. I've not felt the prick of it sometimes when my hot husband does the back of my arm, and I also do it for myself sometimes, which I've done other videos in the playlist down below. You can check those out. There's 600 videos as of right today's day of taking the medication. But when I don't feel the pen prick, what I do is I immediately go to that plunger. You'll see here, this is a pen that's been used. It has the plunger is down. Before, the plunger was up, that purple part, and now it's down. I know that that plunger is down. That is like #1 honing device. Did the plunger go down? Yes, it did. So right there, there's safety checks and balances. Eli Lilly is not a dumb company. They've set us up best for success. Number two, did I hear the clicking sounds? There's 2 clicking sounds when you do your injection. First click, that is when the plunger moves. It's going in. Click. And it sounds like, and if you've seen my other injection video, you'll hear in that video clip, you'll hear that specific sound. If you're like, what does that sound like? The first time I did my injection, I'm like, what's that sound? It's just like just like that, but not quite so loud. Then the second click I will hear is when the injection is complete. It goes by very quickly. I think in the literature, it may say like 10 seconds or something like that. I forget what it specifically says. Yeah, press and hold the button for up to 10 seconds. For me, I'm like, it says up to 10 seconds. It's not 10 seconds. So if it's less than 10 seconds, you're good, babes. I freaked out over that one. So I was like, oh my gosh, it was only like, I forget how many, like 5 or 6 seconds. Because my husband on the back of my arm will always then count 1, 2, 3, and then he takes it off my skin. So if you hear the first click and the second click, did you hear those? So number 1 is the plunger down. Number 2, did you hear the 2 clicks? Number 3, I can then go over to the needle and see here, that needle moved. Do you see that? If you compare right now your unused pen, your Mounjaro pen or your Zepbound pen, the needle is going to be back further. It will be further up here than it is right now. It's further down. You can see that on your pen. That physically moved. And when I heard that clicking sound, it went and it moved down. That moved. And so that for me is another signal. Okay, it's done its job. So I can check those 3 things and then I'm like, phew. Just because I didn't feel it, then it could be a skin thing. Now for women, if you're like, okay, about bleeding, sometimes I bleed more with the pinprick needle, the injection, and sometimes I don't bleed at all. That is also for women. If you're having your menstrual cycle, you can bleed more or less depending on how close you are to that. So just keeping in mind that that can change. Oh my gosh, I didn't bleed this time I didn't see the blood come out. Well, it could be because of your hormones with it associated. That is going to be dictated by, and again, I'm not medical at all. I've heard that from when I used to get Botox. Not used to, I still get Botox. What am I saying? So just knowing that with any sort of injection, that is where I've got, I'm always I require and demand of myself to be scientifically accurate. And if I'm not, I want to fix it, and always setting my sources. So my source for that was when I get my Botox done. They told me that. Next one. One of the things, if you have none of those, stay tuned. I want you to stay till the end because we're going to go through then the next steps after that. If all of those didn't alleviate your concerns, stay till the end. I've got you covered on that. One of my absolute favorite things for me that has made a big difference in my blood panels, in my injections, is gem vitamins, gem bites. I'm actually obsessed with them. They're my daily vitamin. They're what I've used now for a long time throughout my 106-pound weight loss. I actually credit them to helping my 106-pound weight loss. I wanted to open a fresh bag just to show you guys what they look like. They're these delicious mouth-watering bites. That's the size of them. They literally, can you see the pumpkin seeds on them? There's literally pumpkin seeds on there. They are delicious with over 20 plus vitamins and minerals. For me, it has been huge for me to have great blood panels as a result of having the gem vitamin because of a real food. And actually because of the real food, it has superior absorption on it. You can see all these amazing ingredients like prebiotics. Hello, diarrhea or constipation. They have prebiotics and probiotics included in here. It also helps with skin, hair, nails, aging. For me, when I was like, did I hear you say hair? Because I have had, because of my long weight loss, hair loss. That can happen with Mounjaro. That can happen with Zepbound. We don't see that hair loss for the first 3 months of, quote, hair trauma, end quote. And I have a whole blog post on this on Countess shopping that's linked down below too. But that first 3 months, that's when we don't know that the hair trauma is occurring, but typically from weight loss, that can happen. And that can happen not just with Mounjaro, not just with Zepbound, or if you're on WEGOVY or semaglutide or Tirzepatide compound, not just with those, just in general, hair loss can happen for the first 3 months. Then fixing it takes another 3 months. So it's a whole 6 months process. For me, I was like, I'd rather just take my gem bites. I'd rather just have on there. It helps again with that hair, skin, nails, the aging process, but also brain component with it too, in addition to the prebiotics, in addition to the probiotics. I don't take pre and probiotics anymore. I take my gem bites. I take my gem bites because I'm literally eating my nutrients with it too. So that for me has been one of the best things. If you're just starting a GLP-1 medication, of having proper vitamins, my blood panels have been chef's kiss, and I attribute that to taking gem because it's been so helpful for me, and they are absolutely delicious. I absolutely love them and highly recommend. And I have a little picture. I was going to say here it is, of like, I'll have that. I eat mine literally at coffee. And my coffee time is around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's now become like my tea time, but it's been coffee time. And I do that when I have it with my Gem Bite as well. So now it's incorporated into my daily routine, so to speak. But that's made a major difference for me on my weight loss. Go to dailygem.com/queen. Gem has been very generous to the Countess shopping community to give us a discount. Use the discount code QUEEN, QUEEN. The hyperlink is also in the description link below as well. But it's been superior. And also for bones. My bones, because of loose skin and doing DEXA scans and checking to make sure my bones are healthy, honey. And I recently did a bone scan analysis. If you're having major weight loss, I would highly recommend that. And my bones were, woo! Chef kiss also. I attribute that again because of Gem Bites. Now, I'm not eating this right now because I already had mine today. And it tastes like it. People are like, what does it taste like? It tastes citrusy, like ginger meets citrus, which I love. I'm obsessed. And so that ginger is also very calming for my tummy. Okay, if it's none of those with your pen prick, if you're like, what happens if you don't feel the prick of the Mounjaro pen or Zepbound pen, and it's none of the things I mentioned, the plunger going down, the clicks, and that you see that the plunger moved. If you're we're troubleshooting those. With all of those, it could be a malfunction of the pen. Now, I've been around the world from London to the Bay, hammer, go, hammer, yo, MC, hammer. No, just kidding. Can't touch this. Just making sure you're paying attention. No, I've been around the block for quite some time. Now, having encouraged hundreds of thousands of people and talked with a lot of people as one of the industry beginners in this 2+ years ago, 26 months ago, having had that experience for me of talking to a lot of people, frequently it's user malfunction. Frequently people are like, oh, it was one of the other things that they didn't do, and that's why, that the injection went in, they just didn't realize it went in. In the off chance your pen had a malfunction, you can contact Eli Lilly. Now, I'm going to give 10 million caveats to that. I've heard this over and over and over, that people have done that. And sometimes people get pen replacements and sometimes people don't. Truly, they're gonna ask you to, because Eli Lilly is a business and they're a smart business. Eli Lilly, if you're watching, a very smart business at that, and I appreciate them so much for changing my life and saving my life as a result of this medication. You can contact Eli Lilly, but no, you're gonna have to jump through some hoops with it and just making sure it's not user error. Frequently, from my perspective, I see that it's user error sometimes, that they've done something that it's like, you're not supposed to do that. And that's why you had the thing or reaction or whatever, not reaction, but that's why the results that you got were why you got them, because you didn't follow the directions to begin with that were in the packet. So when you first get this packet, my encouragement is they, meaning Eli Lilly, have made it very simple for us for a quick reference guide. And this one's the Mounjaro box with the Zepbound box. So I have a Zepbound box. It's the same, basically the same thing on the inside. Just make sure you're reading that thoroughly so you can walk into your first injection feeling strong and confident. I did my first Zepbound injection and Mounjaro injection. I was literally shaking. Now, mind you, I've been on Oprah. I've been in front of millions of people for live streams with major corporations, of where I've been a live stream host, QVC. Nothing really rattles me in terms of that. This, doing the injection, my palms were sweaty, knee deep, arms are ready. Like literally, I was so nervous. My armpits, I think I had big pit stains afterwards. I'm like, child, I've had 2 babies. Why am I so nervous about this? And I feel like, and I want to tell you, if you're nervous, that's totally normal. I want to validate that. It's totally normal to feel that way. After I did it, I was like, phew, this is not so bad. And now 100+ injections later, it's been one of the best things that's happened to me. Besides having my kid and my hot husband, it's been one of the best things that have happened to me. So I want to encourage you, because it's led to things like being able to ride a roller coaster, being able to do things like horseback riding, doing things like lifting. I lift a ton of weights now. Like doing all of these cool things. Here's horseback riding. I couldn't get on a horse before because I was too big. Now I'm literally going to horseback riding camp in a couple of weeks, and I'm so excited. It's like my dream. My little girl dreams are coming true. Walking 2 to 6 miles every day. Like all of it, being the best mom and wife in addition, that's probably the best part of it. So literally for me, I'm like, I can do this injection. So to validate, if you're nervous about taking your injection, totally normal. Totally normal. talk to your healthcare provider, talk to, you know what I mean? Like talk with reputable folks in my free encouragement group. You're welcome to be like, I am so nervous to take my first shot. We will validate you and we'll hype you up. We're great hype people in that group. And knowing that having these malfunctions are few and far between. Like I said, it's been a very, very, very small percentage of people who have truly had a malfunction with their pen. More likely than not, the pen went in, you just didn't feel it. I've had that so many times of where I'm like, I didn't feel it. And I've spent literally, I mean, each box is over $1,000. And then if you have the savings card on there, it obviously drops the price point down, but retail value of it is over $250 per pen if you were to pay out of pocket without the savings card. This is liquid gold, literally. And so for me, I'm like, I better be having some sort of feeling with it. That GLP-1 Tirzepatide better be going in. And so it's normal also then to second guess as well, which I've done many, many times, which is why I wanted to make this video, because I've done it. You guys have asked me that you've done it. So collectively, people have done this of where they don't feel the prick. And the other part of this too, if you've watched till this part, that I'm going to give you a bonus tip for you because you're special, is different areas I feel more or less depending on where it is. The back of my arm's probably the most sensitive for me, where I'm like, skippy, not yippee, yow. And I say yow, it doesn't hurt really. It's just like a little pinchy pinch. Whereas in my stomach, I'm like, did that go in? Did we do that? Did that just happen? Like, I just don't really feel it in my stomach. And my thigh is like, comme si, comme ça. Whereas the back of my arm, I really do notice there is a needle going into the back of my arm. And it's very light though. This is where I also don't want to freak people out because it's really not, it's a big deal, but not a big deal. And so I want to alleviate that concern. If you've done Botox or filler, those you can feel much more than a simple Mounjaro injection or Zepbound injection. Now, obviously it's not simple because there are some severe side effects, which I have to say that you need to talk to your healthcare provider if you're having serious ones like pancreatitis, appendicitis. There's some gnarly ones, talk to your healthcare provider. But overall, for me, and I'll use my I statements, the rewards outweigh the risks. What I've gotten out of this medication and how drastically my life has changed in the last 2 years versus me just not doing it or being so afraid to do it and then not. Because I've heard several people that too. They're like, I've had my injection in my fridge for weeks. I'm like, babes, we need to, let's tackle that mindset. Either like let's tackle that. Talk to your healthcare provider for sure. That's like your number one go-to on it. But also knowing and keeping in mind that different areas for me feel differently. It does not feel the same across those 3 injection sites. The back of my arm, near my belly button, and my upper thigh. Not going to feel the same for me. Everybody's body's different. I feel like I have to give 10 million disclaimers. Everybody's body's different, so maybe maybe it'll feel the same for you. But for me, and then also subsequently after that, I feel differently. Now, people love to negate me on this, love to cite. For me, it's tried and true. I have the data on my website. I also have a free side effects tracker. Let me see if I have the picture of it. No, I don't. On countessofshopping.com, there is a free side effects tracker. It's a printable that you can get. So I have the data for myself, so I know how I feel after my shot. And for me, the back of my arm, substantially more appetite suppression than anywhere else in my body. I also have, not substantial, but I have more side effects with that. Can I expect more diarrhea with that particular shot? There's 4 gastrointestinal ones: diarrhea, nausea, constipation, vomiting. If I'm having diarrhea or constipation, that's why jam has been so helpful as well for my tummy issues, because of the prebiotics and probiotics. But knowing that the back of my arm is different than my stomach. My stomach, for me, I will be much hungrier. There is substantially less appetite suppression for me in my stomach. Many of you are like, oh, my stomach's the best. That's why you got to do it for yourself to find out which area is the best for you. Now, left or right side, I have had no difference in that whatsoever. And then like the upper part of where the picture is and the back of my arm is what I'm trying to talk about. Being higher there or lower there within that purple guideline has had no bearing for me. But the back of my arm for me, I will have more weight loss that week, and I know I'm going to lose more weight when I do the back of my arm. I do rotate the locations on them just because I don't want to keep injecting over and over and over again. Also for my stomach, and I've talked about this before, I do have substantially more loose skin and stretch marks. Because my skin is loose, this is graphic. If you've made it this far, we're besties, so I'm going to keep it real. Because of the loose skin, I've had more recent stretch marks. I am sure that has an impact on my injection. The injection says not to put it in scars. Some of my stretch marks have scars, so I try to do the injection not near where one of those stretch mark scars is. And then also new stretch marks, I try to also not do it in that area either. But my stomach is naturally just, there's a lot of stretch marks that are scarred and new with it, which is maybe one of the reasons why I don't have that high of appetite suppression, but I also don't have as high of side effects. Not that I really have side effects now on the highest dose. I'm on Zepbound 15 milligrams and was on Mounjaro 15 milligrams, and have been on that for now well over a year, that highest dose, to give some context with it. And for my thigh, it's been an interesting thing. I was so afraid of that when I first did my thigh. It was months and months and months before I stopped doing my stomach. And many of you have been on this medication, because you told me, for over a year, and you've just done your stomach. You're like, I'm not doing the back of my arm. I'm not doing my thigh. And also that is like, you need to do at the end of the day, I want to encourage you. I want to support you. I want to encourage you and talk with your own healthcare provider, because we also do have other medical conditions. And I'm not sharing on the internet all my medical conditions. I'm just not doing that. So that's why I encourage you also talk to your healthcare provider. So what happens if you don't feel the prick of the Mounjaro pen, or you don't feel the prick of the Zepbound pen? Did the plunger go? Did the needle move? Did you hear the 2 clicks? Okay. If you legitimately think there was a pen malfunction, contact Eli Lilly, but go into it. It may be user error on that, depending. And there have been some people, like I said, some people I know have gotten, when they talk to Eli Lilly, another pen sent, and some people they did not. And I also don't know that process, because I've never done that. I've not, and over 100+ injection, I've never had an issue. And I don't like to use superlatives like never, but never had an issue, never. So, and including my husband injecting the back of my arm. Now, recently I did do a whole video on doing the back of my arm. My husband wasn't available, so I did him on the back of my arm myself. And the literature tells us not to do that, but sometimes I don't have somebody to come. I can't be like, hey, bestie, come over. Like, I wouldn't ask my best friend to do that for me. Like, can you come inject my GLP-1 medication? Which is why I wanted to learn how to do it for myself, which now I can. And you can see that video. I walk through the process with it. So I hope collectively all of this helps. I do want to make sure we do here a Countess of Shopping, a question of the day. What are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down in the comments down below. I may not answer all of your comments, but I do read them all. So tell me, and it holds you accountable, right? Like iron sharpens iron. It helps keep that high standard of accountability on a daily basis. We need daily showers to keep clean, and our brains need to keep clean with daily mindset associated for me with health. Literally, I have a quick forgetter. And to stay motivated, active, and engaged in my health journey. Our emoji of the day today is going to be a pink flamingo. I love pink flamingos so much. They make me so happy. And I do emojis of the day because it helps me to get to know you better. It's a really easy and quick way for most people. If you're on like your TV or on a laptop, you can just type in pink flamingo or just pinky, and I'll know. But it helps me to see your name over and over again. And if you've made it this far in the video, I truly do want to get to know you better because I care. Legitimately, I do and have done over 600 videos because I care. I care about you if you've made it this far in the video. So, and seeing your handle over and over again, the pattern recognition of that will help me to get to know you better. In addition, I will pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought too. So I love you guys so super much. Make sure you go to dailygem.com/queen, QUEEN. Take advantage of that discount. Off of your first month. They've been super, super generous with us for your first month subscription with that. And I love their product. I wouldn't talk about it unless I truly loved it. Out of integrity and being a woman of integrity, I only promote things that I love. And I've used their product now for so long. It's made such a difference in my health journey. So my sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessing because life is delicious. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our daily show. I love ya.